Hello, and welcome to Wyverns and Weirdos Fathomless, the tabletop podcast set in the world of Fierlor. I am your Dungeon Master, Darby, and joining me as always are Mitch, playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, Jake, playing the Fishman, Joe, playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, Laura, playing 𝗔𝗦𝗧, and Zoe, playing 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧. Let's jump into it. Last left off, the party fought the Froghemoth, known by its bullywug cultist followers as 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧, before investigating the remainder of the sewer section to discover the location of an entryway to the Underdark. Before going down into the Underdark, 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 made a bet with 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 as to the whether their current mission is worth it in the end. The results of which are yet to be seen. So, as you find yourselves collectively in this big chamber surrounded by these purple glowing crystals, what would you like to do? Just a reminder, there is one entryway to the north, or one entry or exit to the north, one to the west, and one to the southeast.
Can we see any of those mushrooms on the ground over here as well, or near any of the entryways?
There are no mushrooms clearly visible. Roll me a perception check.
8.
Yeah. No mushrooms, no indicator of where 𝗖𝗔𝗦𝗧 or anyone associated with him may or may not have gone.
I am going to be perfectly honest with you all. I don't know where to go now.
It does look quite beautiful. What an incredible natural formation. Who would have thought there would be treasures like this under the ground, and not just aboard the sea? 𝗔𝗦𝗧 just looks a bit lost in thought.
You would know that these crystals are found throughout a lot of the Underdark. Not all of it, but to varying rarity throughout the Underdark. They do emit this bright light when they are part of a fully formed cluster, but they also do emit a small amount of dim light if you were to take a piece off of them. You've also known some folks to fashion them into something akin to goggles of night vision. It takes a bit of work, but it is doable.
Oh, cool.
And in fact is a quite common way of fashioning such an item.
Nice. These kinds of formations are pretty common, at least in rounds where I grew up. Kind of annoying to me, but they're a good little light source for a lot of people.
Oh, really? That is interesting.
Maybe you could carry some around.
Perhaps so.
Yeah, Fishman might say, 𝗔𝗦𝗧, could you help me with this? I've seen you punch a door into splinters, so I'm sure you can definitely snap a few of these rocks off.
Oh, certainly.
As he himself attempts to snap essentially a glow stick's worth of crystal off.
Yeah, 𝗔𝗦𝗧 will come stand alongside him. Oh,
is that easy, or?
To snap the crystal?
What's your strength, Fishman?
1.
I'm assuming that's your modifier.
A score of 13. Score of 13 okay. And a modifier of 1.
It is, with your bare hands, even with your claws, it would be quite tricky, if not near impossible. 𝗔𝗦𝗧 might have a little bit better a chance of it.
Let me see if I can assist as he comes down next to you and sort of looks over the pieces that you're trying to break off, sort of like looking for the best sort of vantage point to hold on to it, and sort of like flexes like his biceps a little bit, and then just like wriggles his little fingers and then reaches out and grabs it and goes to just wrench it.
Roll me a strength check.
Excellent. Yeah, he's going for the same piece that Fishman tried to grab. I imagine because like Fishman also has claws, it's a little bit harder for him to grab onto things as well as perhaps Janice might. We'll see how well I roll. Excellent. So with advantage, that's +5. Oh, a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. That is just enough to kind of snap off like a tiny bit of this crystal.
You almost see like the braces that Janice is wearing, because he's wearing mostly just his like under sort of like little wetsuit like undergarments. He's not wearing like the top breastplate or anything like that. But you see the braces that he's still wearing sort of almost flash subtly as he flexes his muscles. And he grabs that pretty softly, like, it's a strong material, and then hands it to Fishman.
You do note that like it loses a lot of its brightness as it is snapped off. The rest of the structure maintains its brightness, but this little shard goes to more of a dim light.
Interesting. Seems the smaller it is, the smaller the glow. Size does matter.
Well, I mean, I can't deny that one.
He'll turn around and throw the crystal at the rest of the party. Who catches it, that's up to you. It's kind of in the middle.
Roll off.
Neros actively moves away from it.
I don't think Alden's really tries to get it either.
It's a 12 if it's a dex.
Yeah, it's probably a dex check.
I rolled really high, actually. 21. He's not even trying.
I'm imagining like Loren like grabbed it, like had it in their hand, and then like was so happy they got it, opened it, and it's not there, and
Alden's just holding it.
Yeah.
There's 2 inches of height he has on her. He just caught it like right before she did, and he wasn't even looking. And she, without saying anything, turns like red with rage for a second. Just blushes immediately. And it's just like, well, this is no,
yeah.
You go.
So I would say the crystal is probably, so it's not bright. It's probably akin to candlelight. So just double checking that. I think that is technically 5 of bright, and then like 15 or something of and then it's a 10-foot radius of dim light further beyond that. So it gives you about a 15-foot radius of light. It's not as big as a torch, obviously, but it is more reliable in that like it's not going to go out.
And also you're purple. All right, Fishman goes, should we try and get enough for the whole party? Probably yourself, most importantly, actually. I've noticed you have trouble seeing in the dark, and I'm not sure having a giant light source in the Underdark is the best idea.
Yes, no, this may be very useful in the future. Absolutely, I can only see what the sun's rays have touched. Otherwise, this torch, he holds up the torch. But if we can avoid that, it will be a lot safer, I think.
Fishman might look around and be like, this was quite hard to get off. Does anyone have any tools to help with this?
So if anyone has jeweler's tools, tinker's tools could probably do it with a bit more difficulty. Or if you want to just be a bit wild about it, a weapon would do the trick.
Yeah. Well, he's got a, as to my understanding, it's a boomerang sword. YKLWA.
Yeah.
Yakua? Yeah. So if no one pipes up and Janice struggles at any point, he'll just use that.
Yeah, I've got a few different tools. Not really intended to crystal craft or anything.
I just believe that this would be an important thing to grab now, as I believe the Underdark is, well, dark.
Yes, I guess we'll see how we go.
How does Janice fare with the snapping? Because that's his preferred method, because it wouldn't make too much noise.
Yeah, he'll try to snap. He might also, if it doesn't look like it's gonna dislodge stuff, he might also punch at it to sort of loosen it a bit. Okay. Before he tries to snap it off.
Someone cover Neris.
Because Janice does actually deal 6 bludgeoning damage with an unarmed strike, so he's pretty strong at the moment. And again, this is a strength you haven't really seen with him since, and only since the Sphinx fight that we did.
Yeah.
Explosive door.
Roll me another strength check. A reminder: you could use a rage if you wish to just get advantage on a strength.
Yeah, sure. Let's go. A little bit of like little rumble thunder from within the cavern sort of sounds off.
And actually, yes, the thunder and lightning would maybe help a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I rolled an +5, so a 23.
A 23. So you're able to basically snap off. Just looking at probably one of the smaller structures that still has the same brightness as any of these others. You snap off almost a baseball size section of crystal, and at that size you're probably going to get diminishing returns for anything bigger, but at this size you're probably a bit closer to a lantern's light, so about 15 feet of bright light, and then 45 not a lantern, sorry, a lamp, so 15 of bright and then 45 of dim.
Okay, interesting. All right. So yeah, Janice kind of gets like a bit of string inside and starts to sort of like tie together the pieces he cracked off, and then looks around. Where would this be an indication we're closer to a natural entrance to the Underdark, Alton? Do you believe?
Yes, definitely. These are much more native to the Underdark than any of the surface rock above. I believe we're quite close.
Suppose we'll just have to hope that this is a decently still trod path.
Absolutely.
Shall we investigate further? And Janice will snuff out the torch that he had, and just sort of again, like, just still squinting while the rest of you can see around with ease.
All right. So, Alton, roll me a history check to kind of gauge your memory for like what direction to lead folks to Catherine.
Yeah, that's a 16.
16. So you would, so you would know that it is towards the south of where you are, probably only an hour's so southeast, probably only about an hour's walk, 2 hours if you're being stealthy and careful.
Okay, cool. I guess he will crouch down on the ground if there's any dust or like looser rock. Start like trying to make like maps in the ground, like trying to recall that. Be like, all right, so I think I know where we are. It should be this way, hour away from the city, or longer if you're trying to be stealthy about it.
That's good news, hopefully. If the city has answers.
Fishman, as you sort of acclimatize yourself to the space, you begin to have a feeling that you recognize this type of rock on the walls and on the ground. Not necessarily the lights, although they have a certain vague familiarity to, but definitely the actual cave structure is familiar to you.
Oh gosh.
If anyone's paying any notice, Fishman kind of just zones out for a bit, I guess. Might like have a look around, run his hands along the side of the walls and kind of look and smell at the what's left on his fingers from it, and go just ponder to himself and maybe let out a quiet I think we should go this way. And if he can, does any of the entrances look a little bit more familiar?
None look particularly familiar locationally. So it's more so the kind of structure of the walls and the...
Sorry, my bad. In that case, he would have said, well, Alton, whichever way you go, whichever way you choose will go. But I believe I can possibly help. Just pick a direction first.
Of course. I believe it's south. Is this a magic thing, or do you have knowledge of this area?
Neither. More akin to the second, however. I feel like I've witnessed this environment before.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, so as you think upon it and you try to connect the memories in your mind, you have this recollection of a cabin, a tunnel almost, flooding with water. And as it floods, you are just a few feet behind the water. A troop of other creatures, beings similar to yourself, following behind as you collectively swim through this torrent of water, keeping pace with it, and almost as if you are simultaneously leading it and allowing it to lead you through these caverns. As Fishman would have been talking to Alton, he would have just completely zoned out again, as if he was daydreaming.
Oh, well, the world's not just all the surface like everyone thinks it is. Think that maybe down here would bring you to some memories?
Indeed. It seems so. Visions, even. As you say, he kind of comes to again. Odd. We'd best be going, I'd say.
Yes, of course.
So, are you moving at full pace, or are you moving more stealthily?
Well, fun fact. Because this is a familiar terrain to Fishman, we do get some pros for this. So our party can essentially... Difficult terrain doesn't slow us down. We can't become lost, except by magical means. We remain alert to danger. However, the only thing that doesn't apply here is moving stealthily, which is... I misread this. So if Fishman is by himself, he can move stealthily at a normal pace. But if it's the whole party, then no. So, I guess Fishman would opt for stealthy, if we can.
Do we still have Pass Without Trace on?
Yes, we do.
Cool.
Up to an hour.
Right. And do you have that as just a spell, or is that a...
It's a spell he knows.
So
he
in
casts
theory, in theory you could cast it again.
Yes. Yeah, it basically just makes sure you can't be tracked except for magical means, and we have an extra to our stealth. But if we're not moving stealthily, then we're not really using that, I guess.
So I imagine Fishman, while it's wider, I imagine Fishman and Alton, the two of you are probably working in tandem to lead the group.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get everyone to roll me a stealth check, please?
And then, add a +10 to that.
I finally roll well Pass Without Trace is on. That's a 29.
Nice.
Fishman got a dirty 20.
Right. Oh, that's not great with Pass Without a Trace.
Yeah, he rolled a 7.
Elton got a 25.
Nice.
Neris got a 29 as well.
Nice.
We're both very small and we hide behind the big people in the group.
That is the only plan.
And Janice.
Janice, as the big person in the group, is struggling. Again, he's trying to use the light of this little, like, tied together pieces of rocks that he's collected and he's holding in one fist. He's not very good at sneaking around. He did a 14 with Pass Without a Trace.
As you are collectively making your way to the southeastern exit from this chamber, you're making your way through, and Fishman, Janice is struggling to keep perfectly stealthy. Between your magic and your kind of expertise in all things rangery, you manage to kind of help him make up some of the slack of where his kind of bulkier frame doesn't enable him to move as stealthily. Eventually, so you find yourself not too long though, halting in your tracks as Fishman Alton, you pick up on what sounds like Fishman to you, one familiar voice, Alton to you, two familiar voices in conversation a little ways south. So they're basically alerting the group and using a section of crystals to basically hide behind. You hear a pair of voices as a group. So, I don't care what this is I don't care what you want out of these creatures. Our deal has not been completed. Our deal is, to a certain point, over when I need it to be over. Understand, Valen? Yes, but I only converted a few. There is still more work to be done, and you cannot. I know you want to complete your plans, but no plan was ever benefited by needless acceleration. I think, no, all due respect, but you have been around a century. I've been around for several, so cut it with the patience shtick. I know patience. I've been waiting hundreds of years, not a paltry century. I have been waiting centuries for my goals to eventuate. If I can wait with my relatively limited time, then you, with your apparently limitless time and your immortal god, can wait. You are a bold one, Valen. I'm bold because I know that you still need me, that you cannot proceed until I have done what I have done. We cannot accelerate it because there are processes in place and there are timelines that are immutable, immovable. We are getting towards the end, but you need some patience. Understand? I understand. I also understand. There are others here. I cannot be found. Look to who is present, please, and report back. We will continue this conversation later, where we are not being listened to. And you all hear just this of metal feet heading off into the southeast. Hello? Who goes there?
Yeah, I think during this conversation, if they're like all hiding behind like these crystal like outcroppings, if anyone is watching Elton, they would have definitely noticed him go like very, very still, just listening very intently and probably like mouthing like, it can't be, like, are you serious?
Come out wherever you are. would hate to have to smoke you out like a bunch of vermin rats.
Okay. Switching to speaking undercommon, Alton's gonna call out, yes, I'd hate that to happen too. Could I ask who you are?
And you hear again in undercommon, I know that voice. A little changed, but I would know it anywhere. Come on out, little brother.
Holy shit, it can't be. All right. Alton will get out from behind the hiding place. Just kind of very just shocked, very mixed emotions, but I'll go out and look at Valen.
Before they do, Fisherman's going to grab their arm because they're speaking a language he doesn't know. Safe or
Probably safe. Someone I know.
okay? And he'll just let go.
So towards the back of the group as well, Janice is just like hearing all this and he just keeps exchanging looks with Loren and Nero as if he's looking behind himself, like just gesturing wildly like, do we go in? What's going on? Oh my god, did he say brother? But he's just miming all of this.
Loren is kind of miming back violently, but then also turns to Neris and actually in sign language goes, did you know?
Neris signs back something that is not a negative, but not a positive, in Neris's own little way of, well, there are many things that one knows and does not know. We can proceed in the manner in which Alton chooses at the moment. You get a sense that absolutely not.
Question. All right. Gosh, man. So the older brother that Alton would have remembered from being a child was maybe 10 years older than him. He was, they didn't look particularly alike. His skin was a slightly more blue toned, slightly different features. He tends to wear his hair quite long. It's a bit more wavy. He wears a lot of jewelry. It's more feminine, I guess, attire. Quite a serious face. More wealthy styled clothing. Would he look similar? He would have aged quite a bit.
Yeah. However, elves tend to age. They tend to age a lot in their youth and then a lot towards the end, but not a lot in the middle. So he's aged by human perception. He has aged a little, but by elven perception, he has aged a decent bit.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm a lot older. Oh, I could seriously you. Well, you're alive. Well, shit, I always knew you were resourceful. Of course you would be, but to run into you like this.
Like what exactly?
Just completely out of the blue. I wasn't looking for you. I was just traveling.
Yes, that is the way of it, isn't it? Why are you down here, skulking around?
Simply for work, just looking for information and such.
Information on what?
Actually, that little friend of yours from before caused a ruckus in a tavern. We were just trying to, get some cash out of it, Doesn't have to be the truth, I suppose. The information I provide.
Ruckus in a tavern. Yeah.
Killed a bunch of people, but I'm sure he had his reasons.
That he does. So you come down chasing what amounts to a mechanical boogeyman, a ghost story. The one you've clearly seen in the flesh.
Yes, I suppose that's true. Is he a new business partner of yours?
Of the sort. We have an arrangement.
Well, I hope you've got all your terms all sorted. He is quite the dangerous fellow.
Yes, you know me, always dotting my I's and crossing my T's.
Absolutely, it is good to see you, despite I suppose, the awkward situation.
Yeah, something like that. Awkward. One way of describing it.
Yes. And I think Alton probably looks a bit more like small and unlike his usual self, I would say.
Takes a few steps towards you and says, so you want information on the mechanical booking ground to take it back and get some gold? Seems almost too simple for one like you, Alton.
Oh, but everything's a part of the plan, you know. So, you know, carry some gold, carry some favors. That's the way that you build yourself. I've got my ambitions, of course.
Oh, of course.
No, this is just a simple job. Honestly, I am. Would we be able to catch up outside of work at all, and also stop cowering behind the rocks and everything?
I'm not the one cowering behind the rocks at this point.
Yes, no, but you're not going to give them any more reason to cower, are you? Introduce you to my little group here.
Well, I would hope so. You know as well as I do, my threats are never idle.
Yes, of course.
I did threaten to smoke your little rats out.
Well, shit, brother, I just kind of wanted to see, catch up on the family gossip after a few centuries, see, is everyone alive? But, yeah.
Is this the truth, or is this a lie? Actually, roll me a perception or deception. Or persuasion or deception.
Okay.
And it will be opposing his insight.
Oh, okay. That's a 17.
Okay. Noted. So were you lying or telling the truth?
Telling the truth.
Telling the truth. Curiouser and curiouser. You disappear for centuries. Then you come back wanting to catch up as if you'd never left, other than needing to catch up.
It was hardly my choice to leave.
And our line of work in this family is not one that is easy to return to once you have left. There's a certain trust that has to be built with the clientele.
Of course.
And I'm sorry, but someone who disappears for centuries does not exactly scream trustworthy in this line of work.
Of course, but if it makes you feel any better, I'm not trying to get back into our line of work. Probably make my parents roll over in their probable graves, but I'm more of a surfacer now.
So, it's information you want.
Indeed.
I think I could give you enough to satisfy those idiots up on the surface.
Glad to hear it. Well, I suppose I'll introduce the rest of the crew, or at least tell them what's happening. I think they're very confused. None of them speak Undercommon.
Should we revert to the common tongue? And as the sentence switches to the common tongue, he switches seamlessly into common.
Yes, let's bring them all into this. Right, everyone, it's safe. You can all come out now.
Oh boy, here we go. Here we go indeed, says Janice as he changes his face.
Yes, meet Valendamus.
Janice steps forward out of where we've been hiding. He still was the same height and shape and everything. He's made himself look a bit more elven and just a couple of steps to the left of what he normally looks like using Mask of Many Faces. This is almost seamless, so he just nods it out, but again, still looks very huge, very strong, like the sort of person who can break off rocks with his bare hands, but not quite like Janice anymore. And he just nods it out and then nods at Alton's brother. I was pleased to make your acquaintance.
Acquaintance is a bit strong. Someone who is eavesdropping on my conversation.
Barely not invited to the party as of yet.
As of yet is a bit presumptuous.
Okay.
with all due respect, you are out in the open, so to speak, and we were merely passing by.
Loren kind of ducks out from behind the crystal and is like standing next to Janice, and she also has used alter self to make herself a couple steps to the left, like brunette, brown eyes, just a couple features different. She goes, whatever Alton told you in that buzzy little language of yours, we're just passing through.
Regardless, though, Fishman, that's what you can call me.
How apt.
Indeed. So, Alton, what's the plan?
Well, we're hoping to have a little chat here. Have Harlan and his acquaintance with, that little robot fellow.
Indeed.
Yes, we're just going to grab some tidbits of information to take back.
Why don't I show you the workshop? Let me show you what I'm working on.
Certainly, I'd be curious to see the advancements you've come through in all these years.
We would be delighted to accompany. This is your brother, Alton.
Yes, that's right, older brother.
A fortuitous family reunion.
Absolutely, it's certainly a surprise.
A lovely one, I bet.
Yeah, he's just been kind of very, flailing through this conversation.
Neris has been very quiet, so Fishman is going to look over to Neris and just kind of get a vibe check.
Neris is attempting almost very aggressively to hide every emotion on his face, and he's just trying to take in everything that's happening. All bits of information, including the surroundings, whether this is accidental or whether it was an important location where we found this conversation happening.
Fishman will turn back. So, likely you'll find it obvious we're not of this plane. Minus Alton, of course. Will you be guiding us to this workshop of yours? Your help would be greatly appreciated.
The city is an hour southeast. I would be happy to lead you. I'll just need to make some quick communications through arcane means.
Of course.
Wouldn't want to interrupt anything.
That being said, our metal friend there, we're not necessarily on the best of terms. I hope he isn't one of these contacts. But I guess I will be taking you at your word.
Who are and are not my contacts is no concern to you, Fishman. I engage with those clients that I deem appropriate. Those that I do not sully my time or reputation with.
Again, Fishman turns to Neris. He's kind of like gesturing like, is this worth the risk?
Neris is going to incline his head and just kind of cover his mouth, and he is going to cast a message to Fishman. Any lead is worth following. This individual knows our quarry. Regardless of the outcome, information will follow. Be on your guard.
He'll turn back and go, a man of reputation, I guess. I can respect that. Take your time and then lead the way. And he'll kind of just squat down against a glowing rock and just be on the lookout for anything happening around.
Right. Remain here for a moment. I will come collect you when word has been sent.
Of course, thank you for this.
I do not offer it freely, but I guess we will discuss that when we reach my workshop.
I wouldn't expect you would.
Nothing comes free, and very little comes cheap, little brother.
Those are very true words.
Just one moment.
Yes,
And he heads off.
Yes.
Heads off southeast for a little while.
Okay, what's going on?
Hey, yo, Alton, what the fuck?
You have a brother?
Yeah, yes, he's, yes. He seems to be doing well,
Well,
yeah, for sure.
Did I hear the voice of that person, the little one, earlier? Is that correct?
Your brother, is making deals with a robot man who turns people into mushrooms, and you're saying that's good?
It must be the lucrative business partner. I mean, he'd definitely be in need of weapons.
What sort of weapons does your brother construct?
Mostly all manner of weapons, just with magical modifications. Back in the day, well, he did know a fair bit about pistols. He's the one who taught me how to shoot in the first place. But he's generally more on the magical side of the things.
Goodness. So some sort of magical weaponry.
It could be.
You don't think he might turn on you? No offense.
I think it's...
Just, I know some families are like that.
Yes, no, absolutely. No, I don't think he'd kill me, although he doesn't seem particularly happy with me. He might kill some of you if you got in his way. That's definitely within his capabilities.
Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
I jest. We should tread lightly then.
I was absolutely also joking about fighting your brother. Absolutely.
Please don't kill him.
Well, I
And
never
probably-
said I...
I don't think you get out of it very unscathed. If we run into my sister, feel free to try to kill her. Yes, fun was always the best.
Okay. All right.
This has been a day. This is not what I was expecting.
No, Janice throws his hands up. No. Takes all sorts of different families. No, that's fair. Good. Well, we'll be careful then. Hopefully this is a fortuitous beating, and we will promise not to murder your brother.
Appreciated, yes. Is Valen still far? Does he seem out of earshot still?
He has not come back into sight yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Fishman might take this opportunity to cast a ritual spell if there's time.
Yeah.
So he's going to cast Comprehend Languages. Because he did not like that. Yeah, so that's 10 minutes.
Okay.
While this is happening, Loren's kind of gonna scooch closer to Alton. It would be very weird, just being jump scared by this slightly different looking person. And she just goes, "Is your sister younger or older?"
Older than me, younger than Valen.
Of course you're the youngest. Well, that makes sense. Huh.
Just kind of gives her a look.
I'm just saying, I'm an eldest child. This must be why we don't really see eye to eye all that often.
So can you relate to Valen then? Can you use that? Eldest child. He's a tough one.
No, because I seem to like my siblings. Unless that's how you show affection in your family. Why does he look so much richer than you? Is that a choice on your part? Are you a runaway prince? Janice, he might be a real runaway prince.
Oh no, there'd be two of us.
Absolutely. We can't have two of you. You have to fight about it.
No fighting. We need to tread lightly here. Yes, of course, be cautious, but making enemies in an unfamiliar land is not wise. Not at all.
No.
Especially if you want this to be worth it. I think that's probably the best case of action.
Yes. Right. So, I told him what we're doing. I told him we're looking for information on Exley to make some cash.
Right.
And he was fun with that?
He doesn't love it. I mean, it's not good for his business, is it? But
Interesting. Well, it's good then.
information, it moves all the time. It's not always something you can... If he can control it a bit more, it's
Yes,
fine.
no. That's fair.
Fishman's trying to remember if he knows that Janice speaks Celestial or not.
He does.
Excellent.
He's probably heard him speak a couple of times.
Yeah. He'll quickly turn to Janice and ask in Celestial, this disguise, is this another alias that you will be going by? And then
Yes.
he'll turn around and say the same thing to Loren in Triton as well. Or Aquan, if you want to be
she doesn't speak Aquan, she speaks Primordial, so she kind of
Primordial. He speaks Primordial then, because
strictly
I remember.
strictly speaking, Aquan is just a specific dialect of Primordial. So
Yeah. Again,
it's all
essentially,
understandable.
Fishman is just asking, are we calling you a different name? Because I don't think you've necessarily introduced yourselves.
Let's go with Jupiter for now.
Oh, Loren wouldn't pull a face because she doesn't understand Celestial. So she doesn't know that Janice is being a little bit himself about that. And she's gonna kind of pull a couple faces, and then she will scroll so quickly to the backstory section of her sheet. Lunan.
Well, thank you, Jupiter. And he'll gesture towards Janice, or Jupiter.
No problem.
You've been an amazing help so far. And
of course, I'm so glad I met you in that tavern but an hour ago.
And then Lunan, thank you so much. You updated your name on here. And thank you, Lunan, as well. You've both been exceptional getting this far.
Meeting you in that other tavern 45 minutes ago was the most interesting thing to ever happen to me.
That's what people often say about me. As he lets out a smile. And then he'll point towards Neris as well. Because again, I don't believe Neris has introduced himself as well. But I'm assuming he will pick up on what's going on without speaking in another language.
By speaking both Celestial and Primordial, Neris will understand what's happening right now. And is probably in the middle of very quietly explaining it to Alton.
Ah, nice.
It's just very easy to eavesdrop here, apparently. So that's why Fishman was trying to be a little bit cautious about it. But yeah, does Neris give a name, or does Neris just ignore Fishman?
I think that is a very good idea. I should also have another name.
You should. What name would you like to go by? You can do it. I believe in you. What's the first name that comes across your tongue?
I get it. Changed my names a few times. Hard to think of one you want to stick with for years.
Yes.
That's why I've got 6 of them.
So important. You have 6. Oh.
You can take one of mine if you like. He winks at Neris, and then Neris doesn't respond in the way that he's expecting, so he just looks a little bit put out.
Loren pulls a face at it.
Okay.
Neris
you can do it, come on.
Absolutely just panicking. This is not his level of intelligence. This is the hardest logical puzzle he's ever had to come across. Stephen.
Stephen does suit you.
With a V or with a PH, it's very important.
That's very true.
Like veins start to pop out of Neris's head as he's trying to figure out what one is a better idea with V or PH.
I have an idea. What about both? That sounds quite, exciting. Or like your parent got very bored. One or the other.
Done. I am
Stephen
with a PHV.
Good guess. That's a good one. Excellent. Glad to make your acquaintance is all. And you will remain Fishman? I suppose you've already introduced yourself.
I am Fishman. You should know this.
True. Oh, I've already forgotten. Terrible. This is what not being the sun does to you. No offense, Alton. I'm just built differently. Great. I'm sure this will go very well, and nothing bad will happen, and we'll learn lots of good things in a very safe environment.
To pass the time whilst we wait, Fishman will go up to Lunan and Alton. That game you played earlier with your hands, what was that?
Oh, Boulder Parchment Shears.
Can you teach me? It seems is it sign?
No, it's a game that's. I know you do it up on the land, but it's easy to play underwater because you don't technically have to speak. No, you're just. Lunan will explain the rules of Boulder Parchment Shears to Fishman, and it probably takes a minute.
That's what he wanted. That's what Jake, wanted.
Yeah, and Alton is probably standing there having like 5 existential crises as he just watches Loren explain like scissors beat paper.
Yeah, his
Shears
attention is
beat
not
parchment.
focused on that, yeah.
And as you're about to get into your first actual game, Valen returns. Says,
Oh,
all right, we ready to go?
Yes, everything's sorted, everything all right over there.
Yes, I just needed to make sure that we didn't have certain elements of company.
Hello, and we present it as it should be.
Yeah, something like that.
And team, let's all ready to go.
Of course, lead the way, Alton.
And he probably just goes to stand beside Valen as they head off.
Yeah, so, you head off, moving through the Underdark towards Cairthwood. A little way through the travel, you find Alton, yourself in conversation with your brother. And he says, it's strange. We thought you dead after that, the incident at the factory.
Yes.
Found a body and all. Curious.
Was this odd twist of fate?
Yes.
I don't know how it happened. It's when I came back. Did you hear any of the people saying that it must have been Ras herself that saved me? I don't know. It's just a twist of fate.
Something like that. You never wrote? I never got word of you.
When I was thought dead, or since I left?
You've been thought dead.
I tried to send out word, but I wasn't hardly in the space to walk, or it's not in a good spot, and the healer that had me, I think he said he sent word out to you, or I believed him. I did desperately want to come home, and I did try. I didn't just give up. Is that what you thought when I was gone? Is that what you thought after I came back? That I just left you, left the family?
Something like that.
Well, that's not true in that case.
But to return and leave so soon always struck me as strange.
Did you not hear about why I left? Did Vasis not tell you?
You know, Vasis, trying to get information from her is like trying to get blood from a stone sometimes.
Very much so. Is she still around? Have you contacted her recently?
Not for quite some time.
Right.
Last I heard was she was involved in some crazed mission over in the Dragon Empires.
Well, that seems about right. She's always ambitious.
It's foolish.
Mm.
You've gone years, I haven't heard anything since. Everyone told her it would be a suicide mission.
Oh, shit.
No.
Makes sense. Just was going to go too far.
Always dedicated. Point of foolishness.
And I take it if you don't know why I left, did you assume our parents just disappeared as well? Or my mum, or our mum and my dad?
Sorry, Joe, could you just say that line again?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
easy to edit.
Just that last one.
This is also really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is really cool.
Did you just assume our parents disappeared? Or, well, our mum, my dad?
To be honest, my assumption was the same assumption as the last time. That you, and in that case, the three of you, had been killed with it. But I had always thought what I was led to believe. But in the past few years, word cropped up that I thought folly to believe in, but every so often the report became consistent. Someone matching your description.
There was a word of me down here.
I keep tabs on things in the surface world. I keep tabs on thieves' guilds. Anyone who might come across our product that maybe shouldn't have access to it.
No, of course. Yes, there has certainly been some underdark weaponry making its way to the surface.
Yes. When one hears of a drow carrying a pair of pistols, completely mechanical.
Gotta keep up our legacy somehow.
Yeah.
No, but, well, if you're curious, I'll let you know what happened to the parents, to me. And he looks hesitant to speak. This mixture of this desire to share what's happened mixed with the shame over what, and the fear of his reaction. He's resigned. Ross, how to Spanish? We angered her. We didn't fit to her values. We were useless to the society that Overseas brought through. My parents, for falling so far from their grace, Overseas and others wrested control over our factories. They were no longer the strong individuals they once were, and me for being this sickly.
Do I? I'm sorry, I'm just like, should I say crippled? Is that bad?
It's difficult.
like,
Victor in Arcane uses it to refer to himself.
Yeah.
It's a negative term, though.
It is a bad term. I don't know. It doesn't.
But, like,
I guess it fits.
I mean, I guess if Alton views himself that way,
yeah.
we just might make sure that we just don't use that term all the time.
No, I will not use that term again. Yeah.
But it fits with how Alton views himself, I guess, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my thoughts on it anyway.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it's fine.
He was this sickly, crippled, just useless person. Had no place there, so they cast us out, locked us in the sealed off tunnels to die. And somehow I made my way to the surface. I found myself here. I don't know what intervention it was, but I lived. Well, I doubt they did. And I haven't wanted to come back since. After all, I have no place here. No place anywhere where she has more strength.
I think I understand.
Yes, so I apologize for not writing, for leaving you here. It was no intention of mine. I'm glad to see that you still live.
Well, with all but Masish gone, in one way or another, I've had a business to run. Kept me occupied, even if it's not always the most fulfilling in some aspects.
No, I'm sure that you'll be able to turn it on its head.
Oh,
Get
I
something
have.
out of it.
These past few years, you should see what I've created, little brother.
Be curious to do so.
I've created things you would not believe.
In the weapons avenue?
Oh, yes. These creations of mine have an unfathomable destructive force compared to anything that our families created in the past.
That's incredible work. I always do. You'd be more use than just, balancing the books of the family and everything. Well, I'm quite interested to see what you've come up with. I've done the old bit of modification of pistols and such.
Oh, yes.
Yes, just, little additional magical boosts and everything.
So you finally found yourself dabbling in a little magic.
A little bit, yes. That's, I know, always been more focused on the mechanical side of things more than that, but yes, a little bit.
So you realize now that it has its use in warfare.
Of course it does. It is very powerful.
Yes.
And he just looks discomforted at this particular topic.
It's like, so I thought I heard, so you got married right before I left. How's that going? Still,
just change the subject.
try to catch up on other things.
We are expecting our first child.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm sure they'll carry on your successes greatly.
Yes, I look forward to imparting my knowledge upon my child in the centuries to come.
Indeed.
We'll have to have dinner before I show you the workshop. It is getting far too late.
Yes, of course. Catch up with your wife and your associates.
Yes.
Yes, that sounds like a plan.
It will be a pleasure. An extra bit of time to catch up.
Can I insight check this?
Yeah.
Cool. That is. I'm just trying to see if he's being like, are you stalling? Are you stalling about something? Oh, okay, that was a 6. Never mind.
Okay.
He can not read his brother anymore.
Yeah. He's pretty hard to read, but like he seems to be like, just enjoying catching up.
During this whole trip as well, Fishman is paying close attention to like where I can't remember the name, sorry, but where the brother is looking, like certain landmarks that they're maybe using to kind of find their way. Again, when they mentioned it was late, did he look at anything when he came to that conclusion? Or because Fishman looks around and it's the same everywhere than when they came in, so it's like, okay. I'm assuming there's no like changes in light levels or anything like that.
Roll me a survival check.
19.
19. So yeah, you're able to pick up on like the subtle differences in the landmarks and the pathways. So you'll be able to, as long as you don't leave it too long, you should be able to find your way back. There isn't really much that can be said about the way of determining the hour. You're not quite sure. Although, yeah, to your knowledge, like, it's entirely possible that those who live in this environment may be a little more predisposed to noticing such things.
And he's not just wearing a fantasy watch that he completely didn't see. Okay, cool. All right, that's it.
Yeah.
Fishman is trying to pay attention.
Okay. And towards the end of the hour's travel, you begin to see in the distance a small, typically elvish city, but where the high elves and wood elves at the surface would typically have more wood or marble-based structures. These are more dark structures akin to the stone of the walls of the Underdark, almost as if rubble was crushed and repurposed into bricks to build them. It's not a massive city by like when compared to something like say Uncathir, but it is still sizable. It takes probably about half an hour again for Valen to lead you through to his like workshop and homestead within the city, and as you see the structure, a modest-sized home that has not one but 2 chimneys, one towards the front, one about in the center of the roof. He leads you through to it and says, "Welcome to my home. It'd be good to have some company that isn't customers for a change."
Of course, I'm sure that gets tiresome.
Come on in. And that's where we're going to leave it for this week.
So much
You
more
have
stuff.
slain me.
Oh my god.
How dare you, Darby? Oh my god.
Taste, gonna die.
Oh,
That's so tasty. I am gonna be permanently afraid being in the vibes.
He's my bro. He's chill. He's my favorite sibling.
Yeah, chill with murder.
Thank you for listening, everyone.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next
See how Jupiter, Alton, Fishman, Luna, and Steve survive next week.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Bye.
Episode title: Tentacle Time and the Poop Shoot.
Oh no.
People
Okay.
get grappled by tentacles.